People who have dissociative identity disorder have at least 2 alters, but may have 100 or more. Having a great many alters is called polyfragmentation. It is common to have around a dozen alters. Having several dozen would be much less common. The number of alters is not significant in itself, but it does tell us something about the trauma history that led to the alters. The more alters a person has, the more likely it is that their childhood was full of severe and repeated trauma. This is not to say that we can compare people's traumas based on how many alters they have, and say who experienced more or worse trauma, because everyone experiences trauma in their own unique way, and what is trauma for one person is not traumatic for another. But when we see a system with dozens or hundreds of members, we can have an idea that their trauma was extensive. I should note that the number of alters a person has can increase in adulthood as well. Alters may form to handle situations no other alter has handled. For example, DID cannot begin in adulthood, but new alters may form in adulthood. One other thing I should note, it is common as you are healing to become aware of alters that have been present all along but seem new to you. This reflects increased communication and reduced amnesic barriers between the parts. I want to make sure you know this is normal and actually a sign of progress, because otherwise it might look to you like you're losing ground as the number of alters you have seems to increase. The other significance to the number of alters a system has is, according to the experts Suzette Boone, Kathy Steele, and Onno van der Hart, is in healing capacity. They report that in general, the more alters a person has, the lower the person's integrative capacity tends to be. Having more system members, they say, will likely require the person to work more in therapy on increasing their ability to integrate. Now, that said, I want to add that complete fusion to a single personality is not the only acceptable outcome. Many people who have DID decide to continue on as a system, but one that is able to communicate and collaborate and make decisions as a whole. This too represents healing and, in my opinion, is an equally valid goal. When the number of system members is high, this cooperative coexistence may be more challenging and may require extra efforts to make sure everyone is included in the decisions and so forth.